Hey, what's up? Today's lesson is on refutation. Welcome back. Today, we're going to be learning how to refute. This is a very crucial skill in debate. But firstly, what is refutation? You can think of debate as a baking competition. Making arguments is like baking a cake. You want to bake a cake that is better than your opponent's, and the judge decides the winning cake based on how pretty and delicious it is. So, there's no better way to win than to destroy your opponent's cake. This act of attacking their cake is what we call refutation. When you attack someone's argument in a debate round, you are refuting their argument. So then the big question is, how do we refute? We're going to be using the acronym NEW. N stands for name it, E stands for explain it, and W stands for weigh it. Let's start with name it. When you want to attack your opponent's case, you first have to flag out which argument specifically you're trying to take down. Let's say I was in a debate round and the motion was this house would ban zoos, and my opponent said that zoos abuse animals. When I do refutation, I must start by briefly summarizing my opponent's argument, in other words, providing the claim that I'm going to refute. The next step, E, is explain it. Here, you just explain why your opponent's argument is wrong. There are many ways to do this. I think there are two main categories of explain it, and I like to call them direct refutation and mitigation. Direct refutation is when you pick apart the mechanisms of your opponent's argument and point out that they're false. So through this, you take down the other side's argument at its core. Mitigation is when you pick at your opponent's impacts and point out that they're exaggerated. So you're mitigating your opponent's arguments. For example, if my opponent's impact is that 100 zoo animals are abused, I might mitigate that by proving that only 10 zoo animals will be abused. The last step, W, is weigh it. Here, you explain why even if your opponent's argument is 100% true, your arguments are still more important. You can think of weighing as a direct comparison between two arguments. The scale visual really helps with this. On the right side, we have your opponent's argument that zoos abuse animals, and on the left side, we have your argument that zoos save animals, because zoos also function as sanctuaries, etc. Now, when you weigh these two, you place them side by side and take them at their best, and you show why your argument is more important in the debate round. Here's an example. Even if we admit that zoos abuse animals, zoos are still very valuable institutions that save endangered species. Without zoos, many species like pandas would not exist anymore. Overall, then, zoos continue to prevent the extinction of species that are important to our ecosystem. Therefore, it would be much more harmful to the world if zoos were banned. With this paragraph, I've shown how zoos technically save more animals than they hurt. Now, there's an acronym that's very helpful for weighing. It's called STOMP, and each letter represents a weighing metric. S stands for scope. How many people are affected? So think 1 broken arm versus 10 broken arms. T stands for time frame. So for how long are people affected? Do we have 1 year of suffering or 10 years of suffering? O stands for other, so that's just any other weighing metric you can think of. M stands for magnitude. How greatly are you affected? So could it be 1 paper cut versus 1 broken arm? P stands for probability. How likely is it that something will happen? Is there a 1% chance or a 99% chance? Using these one or more of these metrics, you can prove that your argument is more important. If I decide to weigh on scope, I could point out to the judge that the number of animals that are saved is higher than the number of animals that are abused. Therefore, a greater number of animals benefit from zoos, and I win on scope. Let's practice. Your job is to weigh your impact versus your opponent's impact and prove why you win. So your opponent's impact is that 1,000 people each gain $1, and your impact is that one person gains $1,000. Pause the video and take a few minutes to do this exercise. Okay, I decided to weigh this on magnitude. I said that people can't change their lives with $1. It's likely that the person who receives $1 will probably spend it on something meaningless, like buying candy. However, when someone receives $1,000, they're able to actually change their life and pursue one of their dreams. For example, if they want to start a small business. Therefore, I win on magnitude of change. Good job today, and thank you for watching. Make sure you check out the next lesson in this series where I'll be going over the next building block of debate, reconstruction. See you then.